Welcome to another game, guys. We are once more on Belcher Vestige. This time it is not game number 1 that we are casting here on this map. It is actually the third game. The score in this best of 3 is 1-1, and Kas versus Snute is a pretty epic match. I love that we are having a deciding map between the two of them. Unfortunately, we weren't able to cast game number 1 and game number 2, but at least we are here for the deciding map between the two of them. Starting to the bottom right now, we have Empire cast, and to the top left we have Kas' opponent. This is Liquid Snute. Yesterday Snute was quite unlucky when he was playing in the tournament. He got eliminated in a Zerg versus Zerg. Did not really make the best impression there, but today he's in much better shape and against Kas already able to take one of the maps. I'm really interested to see what exactly we are going to see from these two players. It's gonna be hopefully a pretty epic match here on Belcher Vestige. Kas is in a position where he is most likely going for a very early command center here. I would love to see maybe barracks into CC, but let's see if he's taking the refinery here. So far we have him starting off with the barracks, and he's actually going into gas. Okay, he's going into the gas here, not starting with the early command center. He wants to be a little bit more aggressive with this. Could either use this to start with the Reaper and then start the expansion, but there's of course always the option of heading into something like a Halberd drop or a Widow Mine drop before adding the command center. It's not all that common, but it's still something that you can pull off, so definitely something that we might see here, but more likely is the opening with Reapers. What we have here for Snute is, by the way, very interesting. We have an early pool. Pool before hatch in the base. I'm not quite sure what happened in the games before this, but it could actually be that what we saw in one of those games was Kas being very aggressive and Snute just trying to be a little bit more on the defensive because of this. Currently now with the hatch at the natural being thrown down, and we have the Reaper as expected for Kas. He's going straight into the Reaper. That will give him a lot of scouting information of what's going on to the top left, what exactly Snute is up to. And Snute is up to building 6 Zerglings, so right off the bat, as soon as he's done with his pool, he's going into the Lings, not into the Queens here. And let's see how Kas is going to handle this. A few Lings on the map, actually it's even 8 Lings, without gas, without speed, without anything. So that's quite something. Especially since Kas in this situation is not playing things too greedy. The one thing that works in favor of Snute is that Kas is trying to build the command center on the low ground instead of the high ground to save himself a bit of floating time where he then can mine. And to avoid the Reapers, Snute is dodging the middle of the map and is just hugging the tree line here. So he will be able to most likely force a cancel on the CC. This is actually like really cool. That would not work if Kas would have decided to just build the command center on the high ground, but as it is, it should work out very well for Snute, especially since the Reaper of course is now occupied to the top left, and Kas doesn't see anything here. Lings are arriving at the bottom, the SCV being attacked, the problem really being that the Reaper, the second Reaper, is already there, and with this commitment to a second Reaper, at least the command center is going to be saved. It's very unlikely that Snute is going to be able to force a cancel here. He isn't even able to take down the SCV. This didn't work. Not at all. Very unfortunate for Snute. It was close though. I liked the idea. The idea was really a good one. I mean, the thought process of Snute was, you're opening with Reapers, I'm gonna dodge the Reapers with my Zerglings, I'm gonna head into an early pool, and I know that you are building your command center on the low ground instead of the high ground, so I'm gonna try to force a cancel and therefore get it ahead in the game. It didn't work out for him. He is by no means out of the game or anything by it, but the better opening in this situation definitely goes to Kas. The harvesters have been delayed a little bit for Snute since he was sacrificing a lot of lava for the Lings, and now we have the Spore Crawler being built because he wants to save his harvester, cancels it of course. One drone is down on the other hand. And now to the top left in the main base, double gas already for Snute, saturating them as well. We have the armory now at the bottom right for Kas, which already indicates that the Terran player after this third command center is going into Halberd drops. And Halberds are just amazing, especially against Zerg. If you don't have roaches, spine crawlers or a fair amount of queens, Halberds are the bane of your existence. They are so strong against, especially drones of course, but also against Zerglings. And it's really dangerous when you are up against a good Terran player that knows how to drop you with Halberds. Halberds are already being built here. The Stargate is nearly done, Starport of course. And those two Reapers, well, they are trying to whittle away at the hit points of the hatch, and now even the Hellions coming in. And to be honest with you, with the added Hellions, he is taking a lot of hits here. Snute, that is, he will have to cancel. He cannot possibly attack this without losing too much. He has to cancel his third. And this is such an unfortunate start for Snute into this game. He's going into Lair and he's adding the Roach Warren, but the Hellbat drops alone could already do so much damage. And Kas is just following this up with his standard play. We have him at 33 Harvesters against 41. He has a triple orbital, building triple SCV, relying on the mules. And Snute, things are not going well for him. The space to the left side of the map that he is now trying to establish instead of the one to the top right, that is going to help him out. But it's a very dangerous game that he's playing here. I love the wall that we see for him. The double queen here at the front, making sure that nothing is sneaking in. But let's see what he's going to do with the lair tick. Will he just add the Spire? Is he going into Ling Meteor Baneling? He should. He probably should. I mean, with the drop play that Kas is already executing. I'm talking about drop play. Here it is. Hellbats in the main base. Kas trying to save his medivac. Of course, Snute is targeting the medivac as fast as he can. Mining time lost. Harvesters being barbecued here. But the one medivac is moving back now. The Hellbats once again trying to get close enough to the drones. The only thing that you can do against Hellbats is run. Run, Forest, run. Run as fast as you can. Saving Private Ryan here. All the drones are trying to run away, and they are doing a decent job. But at this point, Kas has already taken down a couple of Harvesters, 7 in total. Done a good job here. He is still a little behind in overall supply. Snute at least blocking his third base with creep, which we can see at the bottom left here. But Kas going in double upgrades, going to stim the attack upgrade for the Hellions. He is doing decentish, and he has also scouted this hatch at the left side of the map with the second drop that he sent in, and therefore once more denied mining, since he can now just attack here once again. The roaches, of course, are a little bit troublesome, but the medivac is now speed boosting into the main base, and this is one of the main advantages of Terrans these days in Heart of the Swarm. They are so much more mobile. Lava being eliminated by the Hellbats, and also the Queens being under pressure. But so far he's doing a good job here dealing with the Hellbats. I love how Snute always pulls his drones immediately. He has a good reaction time, and therefore only 8 workers lost so far. This could have been much worse. But the Roaches alone not doing too much here just yet. Resources lost, more lost for the Zerg player. The Overlord is gone. We have the Orbital Command floating over. The Roaches here can delay this a little bit more. But of course, as soon as those few Marauders that are... He had Marauders, right? Yeah, he had at least one Marauder. As the Marauders and everything else are moving to the left to clear this out, it shouldn't really be a problem. Kas is going into the siege tanks here, but he doesn't have too many yet, and Snute has a fair amount of roaches in the game that he could use to attack not only the SCVs here, but also those Marines, and he's actually committing to it. The siege tank is not there just yet, and neither is Stim. +1/+1 about to be done, but the armor upgrade is already ready for those roaches. Here comes the tank though, and with the tank alone he should be able to just force this back. But I love how Snute is trying to take the initiative in the game. He has taken a lot of losses in the early stages, and has also lost a lot of momentum, but he's doing his best to bounce back, and he's actually in a really decent spot by now. It's not as good as it could have been if he would have saved this base at the top right, but he is still blocking the space down at the bottom left. The Overlord is still in position, spreading the creep, and he has also the Roach there that is able to just take down a single Marine. So that's something that he could do. Top right, we have a base, we have one to the left side, a 4 base Zerg player against 2 base Terran. Snute is probably feeling not too bad right now. Adding the Baneling Nest, and with the Infestation Pit, he can now also go into Infestors. It looks really like he goes into a Roach Infestor composition, because there's just no additional tech being added. We don't have a Spire. We don't see any kind of Swarm Host play. We don't see a tech into Hive to get the Ultilisks out there, even though he gets the upgrades for the melee units. So I feel that the long-term goal must be a Hive tech with the Ultras Cavern. But for now, he is quite content of just securing those bases and being quite safe against the drop play, I guess. Building Lings now as a bit of reinforcement for his army, so that he can at least apply a bit of pressure after Kas has now successfully taken his third base, which was quite late in the game, at 14-15 minutes into it. Starting to the top left, let's have a quick look at what we have here for Snute. A lot of spine crawlers, spore crawlers too. Very similar setup at the third base. Spore crawler has to get into a position though. That's what we see right now. Army supply is currently in favor of Kas, and he's moving out. This is the last game, guys. Keep this in mind. Whoever wins this game advances to the next round of the tournament. And Kas is very well aware of this. He is relying so much on siege tanks. We don't see that all too often. Most players really go for the Widow Mines. It's so much more mobile if you play Bio Widow Mine. But the siege tanks, they are still strong. They can still work, especially against roaches. Just look how those roaches are being evaporated here by the tanks. The question is, can Snute either go for the run by or set up this flank? He's attempting to do it. And what do we have at the natural? Not a whole lot. Actually, we don't have anything to defend here. And those few siege tanks that he has, they're completely caught off guard here. Kas is already moving back, but the problem is, will he be back in time? Another cancel at the command center has to be enforced here. Where's the cancel? There's no cancel. He's losing it. He's losing the Marines too. The rest of the army is moving in, and Snute is now paying the price for this aggression, but I find it's well worth it for him. He's taking out harvesters at the two gases. He's taking down siege tanks. He's taking down more SCVs as we speak. In total, he killed 15. And he is still active at the third base, taking down even more SCVs. And Kas is in trouble. The Baelix, oh shit! He's taking down so many of them, busting through the supply depots. He is taking down everything. The wall, oh god, Kas is now in such a passive position. He cannot really do all too much. I mean, what can he really execute at this position? Can he move out? Barely. Hive tech is completed. We have 3-3 being researched as well as Adrenal Glands, and I feel that the Ultralisk Cavern is gonna pop up on the production tab in just a second or two. He certainly has the income to pull that off, but first of all he has to hold this move out. Kas once again in a good spot here. The fungals are decent. Another fungal hit is in home. The problem is that all the medivacs are being caught with the fungals, and this could actually break Kas' backbone here, especially since we have now Snute moving in for another attack down at the bottom right. Another infestor with another fungal, and a lot of these medivacs are low hit points, 5 and less. Snute is holding on for as long as he can, expanding once again to the right side of the map. The Zerglings here doing as much as they possibly could, are trying to bust through, but we have a siege tank on the high ground and also fewer Marines in position. Maybe at the third base they could do something, but there are Marines there as well. This base is not going to survive. The hatch is being pulled down. A cancel on all the eggs. Love it. Snute is just thinking enough, looking at this and realizing that those units wouldn't have done anything anyways. So he's just trying to rely on the links that he has now at the bottom left. +3/+3, not completed just yet. The Zerglings barreling down at the defense that we have at the third base, taking down a fair amount of Marines. This is a bloodbath, but the Zerg is losing a lot more. Adrenal Glands nearly completed. And at this position, we have another base established at the right side of the map. +3/+3 is halfway done. This would give him a huge lead in this game. And what exactly do we have at the bottom right? Another army just moving out for Kas, the Terran player, taking a supply lead here. And the army supply for him is looking incredible. He lost so many harvesters, but he's relying on the power of the mules. One mule to rule them all, especially the economy, and Snute has to find good engagements. He still has 8 infestors. Where are the fungals? There they are. He needs to fungal those medivacs. He needs to death fungal them. That would be the best thing that could happen for him, especially since Kas is stimming a lot and losing hit points thanks to it. Ultralisks not really being an issue here. Adrenal Glands at least being completed, but +3/+3 is just not done. Oh, the money fungals. He's getting the fungals and he's hitting another one. The Banelings are being morphed. So many Banelings, tasteless. And here come the Lings moving in. The reinforcements are on the way. +3/+3 is not due just yet. But in just a few seconds he will always also have the upgrade advantage over his opponent. Looking down at the bottom right, we see the Terran player still being on +2/+2. The Chitinous plating upgrade is just now being researched. He could go into the Ultralisks now. And this is a game where Snute slowly but steadily is pulling ahead of his opponent thanks to the economy that he has. It was so important for him to just hold this base. Those fungals really, I mean, they basically won him the game at this point. He is in such a great spot that I don't think Kas will be able to bounce back. He might. he just might be able to pull through again if he gets a good engagement, but with the Ultilisks now entering the equation and also the Infestors being rebuilt, I just don't see it happening. 3-3 coming through for the Zerglings here, and also Adrenal Glance doing a decent job. Holy shit! All those Banelings just taking down so many SCVs once again. I mean, by now he killed 53 Harvesters. This is worthy of being a third game between two players. This is an incredible series that we currently have. I love this game. It looks like Snute might get the game, might have the upper hand here, but still the army supply at this point in time is still in favor of Kas. Keep that in mind. Kas has a bit of a lead here. The Lynx coming in for the flank. Lynx and Banelings trying to catch those siege tanks off guard. At the front we have Infested Terrans, and here come the Lynx taking down tank number 1, number 2 as well. The third one going down, and the second set of Lynx is streaming in. Kas is losing ground. The Ultilisks, they say hi, and Kas is not amused. He's rescuing the few Marines that are left, trying to get them to safety with the afterburners on the medivacs, but right now the Terran is desperate. His main base is nearly depleted with the mineral patches. There are not too many left at the natural either, and the third base just a constant problem for him, since Snute always attacked. Kas is such an amazing player with such a great defense, but Snute, even though he got the worst end of the stick in the race for the opening here at the early game, he is such an amazing player with his aggression that he had. Those run-bys, they were exactly what he needed. He knew when he could not face the army of Kas because he was too strong. He went down, took a lot of units out, and crippled the economy of Kas, even with the triple mule. The Terran player just not being able to keep up with Snute's constant aggression. A really great game. I love this game. This was such a great match. It's even not over yet. Kas is fighting. I mean, this is a guy who's heading now into +3/+3. He's looking at this game. He's like, buddy, I might have lost my momentum, but I have not lost the war just yet. In this scenario, if you overcommit, you take one wrong engagement, and I will stick it up your ass. I will take this game and punish you. And here come those stims. Where are the Infestors? They move in. The Fungals are great. The Banelings moving in. And Kas, he has tried, but this was too much. Snute, with all the might of the Swarm, taking Game 3 against Kas and advancing to the next round of the ZOTAC Cup Monthly Final.